Concert to 30,000 people the day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes.
Hi, my name is Ruben and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfasfa.org. That's nmfasfa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfasfa.org. That's nmfasfa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico.
It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, Lobo fan, you have yourself a roster that you could play a game with. Not done, but 2 more additions for Lobo basketball as the free agency, aka transfer portal season, continues. The movement for the Lobos yesterday, a ton of news coming down. 2 more players on the roster, an assistant coach. So 4 of 5 of those spots locked in for new head coach Eric Olin. And what does the new base look like that there will be more additions to for Lobo basketball? What it do on a Tuesday, a play-in Tuesday, a Kenny Thomas Tuesday, and tick-tock. The clock continues to count down to the NFL draft. It's smoke season. What do you believe? Who are you buying? What happens at the quarterback position outside of Cam Ward? JJ Buckazay Johnson with you this morning. Thanks for hanging out with us here on The Sports Animal. Of course, ProView Network. You can check us out there, Xfinity Channel 26, streaming online. And I know Lobo fans, because we've been talking about it, they've been itchy. You've been wondering, what's Eric Olin going to be able to do? Can he step up? Can he bring the players in? Well, two more players, and it's a brotherly duo that were announced yesterday for the Lobos on the social media. You got Kevin Patton Jr. and Kalai Patton coming in. So Kevin played last year at USC, 27 appearances, 3 points, 1.2 rebounds. We got to talk about his freshman season. That'll really get people excited. Kalai was a redshirt player last year. So both come in, package deal, interesting duo, but really the focus right now is on Kevin, and then we'll see what his brother can do. So Kevin, 6'8", swing player, small forward, shooting guard. Patton, 6'4" guard. Both will be on scholarship, as reported by Jeff Grammer of the Albuquerque Journal. When you start looking at this roster, and the question was for a lot of people, the talent. We're going from UC San Diego, different requirements, not necessarily the same NIL budget as University of New Mexico. So how is Eric Olin going to handle that? Never worried about the players. Lobos were always going to have the players, but I understand the question of, well, what type of player will they get? I think the early signings have people excited, and you're seeing them lean into that style. Eric Olin has an opportunity. Now, did you want to lose every player to the transfer portal? No, but it means Eric Olin can bring in the exact type of player that he wants for this season. And every player did in the transfer portal, because yesterday, finally, Ibrahim Sacco made it official. Now, he had still been on the roster. There's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of questions asked on social media about that. But Sacco did officially enter the transfer portal on Monday. And that's going to be an interesting conversation to have about Sacco. And was this one of those situations where someone was kind of nudged out of the picture, which is entirely possible, because I know a lot of people were wondering, why he was still there if he was not officially in. We'll get into that in a second. But who do you have on the roster? The big addition last week, of course, Antonio Chol, the 6'9", do-it-all forward, probably better suited to play the 3. But you know what? Eric Olin going to space the floor, wants dudes to shoot threes. Then he brought over Milos Vincentić. We saw that addition over the weekend. Redshirted last year with a foot injury at UC San Diego, but this is a guy at his time in D2 basketball, scored over 1,200 points in 75 games, shot over 40% from 3. And then you bring in the Patton brothers. And Kevin Patton Jr., when you start looking at highlights, everyone looks awesome on social media, right? That's the whole point of it. You put your highlight video together, and you look great. But Kevin Patton Jr., the 6'8" guard forward, and when he did his freshman season at San Diego, he averaged 9 points, 4 boards, was all West Coast Conference freshman team selection, then went on to USC. But what you see from Patton is an explosive player. He is a guy that's played and done it at the D1 level. And to bring it back for Lobo fans, what a lot of people are hoping Quentin Webb would become, which is just that electric, bouncy forward. Feels like he can throw it down at any time he's attacking the rim, baseline, you name it, come from the top of the key. You see that from Kevin Patton Jr. And we'll see what his brother Kalai Patton can be. 6'4" guard. Is he more of a combo point guard shooter? We'll find out. No, practice is going to be fascinating this year if you get a chance to see any of the summer workouts for this team. But so you got Chol, you got Vincentić, you got the Patton brothers. That goes along with Chris Howell, who is following Olin from UC San Diego. Howell, the 6'6" defender, all-conference level defender. And then the freshman 6'4" Jake Hall, who comes in. So you have yourself at least a lineup that could ball. Okay. That wasn't going to be a problem, but now you can start to put the pieces together from the highlight clips, the box scores, what these players were rated coming out of high school. How you feeling so far Lobo fan about what Eric Olin has put together. It was always going to be a little bit of a process coming in, completely new roster. Take a little bit of time, but the dude's got an NIL collective. 505 Sports Ventures, Kurt Roth and company are paying the talent. I was never worried about Lobos getting the talent. The question is going to be putting it all together in year one. What are going to be fair expectations when you see the final product, when you see Coach Olin working early in the season? That's all to be determined. And we can't even really have that conversation yet because it's not a full roster. But the pieces to this point, do you like the athleticism? Do you like the shooting? Do you buy in the style of play that Eric Olin is going to bring to the Lobos this season? Because he talked about being adaptable. Well, he doesn't have to be adaptable. This is going to be entirely his team in year one with the entire roster turnover. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning.
So, JJ, I know when I'm on the show more often, I'm very, very, very up to date with, the Lobo roster and exactly the breakdown. So help me out here. From what I've heard, we've actually got, so far, would you say there's already more shooters on this team than there was last year or no?
Potentially. Absolutely. What Antonio Chol did in his career coming in after, JUCO performance. Vincentich, you got to go back 2 years ago, but it's the guy that put in the work at the D2 level, shooting over 41%. We'll see if he can make this step up. I believe he can, man. If you're a shooter, those numbers are going to follow you. You look at Kevin Patton, in this case, the 6'8" forward, who's electric off the wing. He'd be someone that he's going to get up and down the floor at an exceptionally high level. And then Chris Howell, the 6'6", all-league defender that followed him. And so you see the pieces put into place by Eric Olin. And how you feeling now that you kind of start to put these pieces together? You say, okay, this player plays this certain way. Eric Olin wants to do this. And what does Eric Olin wants to do? Well, he had a UC San Diego team that he maximized the talent. This squad was 30-5 last season, pushed Michigan to a one-possession game in the NCAA tournament. And you look at the defensive rating, KenPom, they finished 30th in the country. They had the 61st rated offense. Those are really good numbers to put together at UC San Diego. They pushed the Mountain West teams, made it to the NCAA tournament. In a situation too that they were one of those teams that you had a gaudy record, and there was a giant question mark of can this team be an at-large team? And with that pressure, they went in, handled their business, got the automatic bid, went to the NCAA tournament, and now Eric Olin piecing this together. You see it now. You finally have some players to react to. Those that have been antsy, those that have been wondering what the recruiting is going to be like to this point, and it's not done. There's more players coming. Definitely a starting point guard on this team is to be determined. We'll see that. Who knows, the next few days, next week or so. But you got the style of play. You got the players that are starting to fit that. So we'll take your thoughts all throughout the morning. 505-246-0610. It is a Kenny Thomas Tuesday. We got the play-in, the Orlando Magic. Kenny Thomas says, hey, watch out for Orlando. They got to get through the play-in.
Really? He's an Orlando guy?
He likes what the Magic had. Paulo Banchero's.
That's his guy? He is. That guy is very, very
He's legit.
good.
He's the next. He is a star-level player.
Okay.
But he's kind of like he needs his series or two to take that next step.
Oh, yeah. He needs a little bit more
into
help
the
there.
national conscience.
I hope that's not a situation where he's got to get out of Orlando, but it might be.
No, it's a question with a lot of these, 4 and lower playoff teams. But outside of the Warriors, is there anyone that can go on a run? Because everyone's still all in on Golden State, even though that they are in the play-in. They're 7.5-point favorites over the Memphis Grizzlies. You got the two play-in games tonight. The Magic 5.5-point favorites over the Hawks. The Hawks the 8 seed, the Magic the 7 seed. The Grizzlies the 8 seed, the Warriors 7 seed. So in the play-in tournament, you have two chances to win one if you're an 8 seed or 7 seed, because the loser will play the winner of the 9-10 matchup in the East. That is Chicago and Miami. Bulls 9, Heat 10. In the West, the Kings 9, Mavericks 10. And the Orlando Magic, Hawks, the first one tonight, followed by the Warriors and Grizzlies. So we'll get into the play-in. Can anyone go on a run? Is it just the Warriors that have that possibility? And also in the Western Conference. OKC, give them the credit. But then is it all LA after that? Are the Lakers and Clippers the next hottest teams? Are the Lakers and the Clippers the teams to be after the Oklahoma City Thunder? We got a ton to get to this morning. Want to hear your thoughts on Lobo Hoops? We'll continue to break down the new additions and how they fit the style of Eric Olin in a new era of Lobo basketball. The play-in tournament tonight. We'll kick it with KT coming up at 9 a.m. And, of course, the news and nuggets in the NFL Draft Round 1 next Thursday.
Finally.
Let's get it. So a ton to get to. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. You can also send an email if you would like, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
It's Part Sports. We have football on.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action networks.
Got shots. Got shots. Got shots.
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You're always going to get the players. What type of players are you going to get? Get Eric Olin get in a conversation with potentially different level of talent. Then you look, man, you're like UC San Diego, 30-5, NCAA tournament appearance, conference champs, push Michigan in the final possession of the first round game, 12-5 matchup. You feel like, you know what, this dude's pretty good. But you see people in the portal, you see players committing, you get a little anxious, you get a little nervous. No one likes to wait, no one's patient. I understand that. You have to wait for something. Lobos are always going to be able to fill the roster. The question was, what was it going to look like? You got a good chunk done to this point in time, and there's still players to be added for Lobo basketball. Brothers commit to New Mexico. Kevin Patton Jr., Kalai Patton, Kalai was a walk-on freshman who did not play last year, but he has 4 years of eligibility. And Kevin Patton Jr., 6'8" forward, freshman season at San Diego. Last year they were at USC, and Kevin, 27 appearances, 3 points, 1.2 rebounds, but he was an all-conference freshman selection at San Diego. And you see the clips, and what does it look like? Well, it looks like what a lot of people were hoping Quentin Webb would become, and just that electric, explosive, bouncy forward on the wing. And so you're seeing Eric Olin start to be able to put the pieces in place that he wants, because he has an entire roster to rebuild. Because yesterday, officially, Ibrahim Sacco went into the transfer portal. So that is every player, whether they exhausted their eligibility or they had some left, they're gone from last season's team. And I think with Sacco, that's going to be an interesting one. I don't think there's any bad blood, but he was still on the roster. He did have an NIL deal. And it might have been one of those that just said, hey, appreciate you, but it's time to go. And it's an entire new look for Eric Olin. 505-246-0610. The JJ Bucks A. Johnson with you this morning. Sports Animal Hotline and text line is 505-246-0610. Jack, you're on the opening drive. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, JJ? I like, just seeing the roster. It's fun to see this thing piece together day by day. We're slowly building, a team. Obviously, it's nice that he's bringing in some size, especially on the perimeter. I think the shortest guy we have so far is 6'4". A lot of 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". I would feel a lot better if we had brought in a rim protector, somebody who's 6'10" or above, to have a presence at the rim. But also, I don't want to. I hope we don't turn into like a Utah State. Like, I feel like Utah State was a great shooting team, but they live and died by the three. They really didn't have an inside presence, and a big guy who had some post moves could really space out and alleviate some of the pressure on the shooters as well. So I think that would be a really crucial piece to get going forward.
I appreciate the phone call, man. And yeah, I'm right there with you. It's center and point guard for sure, the next addition to this team. But I'm interested in what does Eric Olin want to lean into having a traditional five in his style of offense? Does he feel like, hey, I can get a better post player now with the resources available from the collective to have a guy that could fit in with his shooter, with his style of play? Because I understand that. You see, Utah State, they were good, kind of felt like they hit their ceiling late in the season, didn't have really anywhere else to go outside of shooting three. But I think, UCSD, actually a better defensive team than Utah State. Now, I get the comparisons, level of play, who you're playing. I do think that's a fair comment of, are you going to get kind of stuck in one style of play? Is there going to be a little adaptability right there with you? That's the next two additions doesn't have to be exactly that, but in terms of what would you want to see filled, yeah, of course, a starting center, that rim protector, rebounder, has someone that has the athleticism that you want in that style of play to be able to run up and down, fit the defensive assignments, but be somewhat of a presence inside, and who's going to run the show, and what kind of point guard you're going to be able to land to get this going. But
yeah, those are the two most important positions,
absolutely.
isn't it?
Well, we saw it last year. That's what the team was built around.
Yep.
Was Donovan Dent and Nelly Jr. Joseph. And you're going to be able to land a good guard in this style of play. And here's my thing. There was, I think I saw an update yesterday, like still 1,600 players in the portal that don't have a home. So you're going to have the dudes. Now, just what type of dudes are you going to have and how are they going to fit together? And now that we see that, we can start to answer that question for Lobo basketball instead of being worried that no one's going to commit here. You just have to wait and see who that is that's going to commit. And I am interested to see what Eric Olin wants to do with his style of play. You know, has something that he can recruit to specifically right now. And he can pick every player he wants on this year's roster. And with that style of play, which we talk about, he likes to shoot the three. He has guys coming in who've been Sentich, the 6'7" forward who was with him last year, had the red shirt with the foot injury. But the dude was, 40% shooter in his time at D2, where he scored over 1,200 points in 75 games. So it wasn't just this he played 10 games, shot 40%. Like, that's a dude that can shoot. Antonio Chol is a guy that's a face-up forward that can shoot.
You mean 40% from three or from the field?
From three.
From three. And that's one thing that translates. It's not like it's NBA to college where the distance changes. If you're shooting 40% in D2, you should be able to shoot 40% in D1, especially if good offense, you're getting good looks, you're shooting where you want to shoot.
Yeah, those are things I'm looking at. I'm right there with you about, all right, what's the translatable skill? Mm-hmm. Shooters shoot. You got some shooters on this roster. Of course, athleticism on the perimeter, I think with the style of defense that Olin wants to play, kind of get up in your grill, force the turnovers. And then I am interested. I am intrigued about what style of forward, what the post player is going to look like. Because Eric Olin is able to have some different conversations now at the University of New Mexico with the collective, of course, with the ability to get players on campus a little bit different than UC San Diego with the standards. So can he get a little bit of a do-it-all center where it's a guy that has some touch but can be a defender? Because those players cost a ton of money right now.
A little Jokic, a little Jokic, bring him to UNM.
Yeah, the Serbia connection's been big.
Yeah,
at UNM. You still get a little bit of that with Ben Sentich coming over, and it's the game. It's this is the exciting part. I know there's a frustrating part with name, image, and likeness, but then there's also the free agency. It's what it is.
Yeah,
kind of the hope of what you can bring in, what kind of guys can you land, and the next two. It's not going to be the next two, but the next two biggest questions to answer are who's running the show, and what kind of dude you're going to have holding it down in the middle. When we come back on the other side, Zay, we got some numbers of what it costs right now. When you're talking to the agents, when you're trying to land guys in the transfer portal, what are the numbers looking like of what the agents are asking for from, all right, your star player to just a dude who's going to be sitting on the bench? We're starting, the more people talk about it, more people open about the numbers, and you get a sense of just how much some of these rosters are costing right now in college basketball. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. Kenny Thomas set to join us at 9 o'clock this morning. We'll get his thoughts on the Masters. You know, he's a big golf guy. What a weekend it was. The numbers were off the charts because people were tuned in to see if Rory could get it done. Took a playoff, but he got it done. Of course, the play-in starts tonight in the NBA. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Well, the Lobos have a lineup and play a game, and a lot of people are worried. They recruiting? They making phone calls? No, they're just going to show up with 3 dudes and then pick 2 more guys out of the stands to play next year.
My favorite intro music, by the way.
Got a good bump. You never, it could have been you. Show up with some kicks. Shorts could play for the Lobos next season.
I was
but
going to say, let me see if I got some years of eligibility left. I can hit an open shot.
I'm a problem in rec league. Now, you get me in Division 1, then I'll be the wrong type of problem.
Yeah, it would take me a long time before I shot a ball. I just didn't care about what if this airballs. You know, it's those things that would take me a long time. Open court, shoot around, I can hit everything.
Everyone loves to be confident, and it is one of the things about sports. Love sports, man. It's fun, but it is funny sometimes when you're like, wait a second. I'm out here criticizing these dudes. I'm the one that's breaking this down when I couldn't even get a shot off in a game. And I'm the one that's like, oh, you can't do that. You got to make the pass. You got to foul. You got to have this or that. Yes, it's the fun about sport. But then there are those realizations that, yeah, they might know a little bit of something. Even if you think they suck and you want everyone fired. They might have an idea of what's going on. But guess what? We get a microphone.
Yeah,
we have a text line. We got phone numbers. And we can have fun with it. We're talking hoops this morning. A lot of it with Kenny Thomas set to join us at 9 a.m. as the NBA play-in starts tonight. Outside of the Warriors, can a play-in team go on a run? Could someone get hot and knock off a team in the first round? Of course, everyone has the Warriors circled still as a potential Western Conference Finals team. It's Steph Curry. It's Jimmy Butler. How could you not think that they have that? But is there anyone else? Could it be the Orlando Magic? KT likes the Magic. We shall see. But the Lobos added a pair of brothers, Kevin Patton Jr., Khalil Patton yesterday. So Kevin Patton, the 6'8" forward, played last year at USC, 27 appearances, 3 points, just averaged about 8 minutes a game, but super explosive athlete. His brother was a walk-on freshman, did not play, so his redshirt season. So Kevin has 2 years of eligibility left. Khalil has 4, but who knows what that means when you can transfer after every single season. But what we do know is what the roster is starting to look like right now, and how you feeling that you're seeing the pieces put into place. But Zay, how much does it cost for these players? Jeff Goodman, of course, Field of 68 college basketball reporter. He put out is it still a tweet, even though it's not Twitter?
Yeah, people still call it a tweet.
A tweet on the X.
You can say or a post.
A post on the X.
Yeah, you can say a post.
So he said he talked to about 25 high major coaches to just get a feel of what the numbers are right now, because it's pay to play. We get it. And when players in the transfer portal, you talk to their agent, and that's how deals are made. And one thing with the University of Mexico is they are solid in the NIL game. Eric Olin was going to be able to make phone calls, get players to commit because of Kurt Roth and 505 Sports Ventures. Like, that was there. Now, the guys that you're priced out from, you're going to be priced out from regardless right now. But what does it look like? Well, Jeff Goodman gave you a baseline of what players are asking for right now. So elite guys, projected elite guys, we're talking maybe top 10, 15 players in the nation. $2.5 to $4 million per year, your NIL deal for that season.
Wow.
We're talking starting quarterback money in college football for one of these guys. But that's the top dudes in the game right now. And then you're looking at all conference player. Okay. $1.5 to $2.5 million.
Yeah. Cooper Flag was at 4.8, so you're not getting more than that. I mean, unless he set the market, you got to be, for sure, like, generational player.
Number one pick in the draft.
Yeah, number one pick.
Player of the year, Cooper Flag. Freshman from Duke. So your elite players, $2.5 to $4 million. That's what the agents are going to be asking for. All league players. So, hey, could have been, you're talking like your Nelly Jr. Joseph. All conference player, $1.5 to $2.5 million on the market. How about this? Just starters. And we saw it right here. True Washington. Going to Miami. A little over $1 million. Some of the reports that are out there. Well, projected starters, $500,000 to $1.5 million.
This is hitting me in my chest. It's like,
yeah, man,
5 years late.
You're late. Late to the party, man.
Oh my gosh.
What could have been. Now you're stuck here. Life lessons.
Yeah, right.
And how about this? Let's be on the roster. $200,000 to $700,000.
Wow. Wow.
Dudes are getting their money. Wow. But that's the kind of numbers we are talking about in the transfer portal. The discussions that are going on. Yeah, get your money right now, man.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get into Nico, Tennessee, the quarterback situation, what's appropriate to do in this landscape of, well, there's really they're not contracts. Everyone says it's a contract. Well, it's an NIL deal. Like what? There's no union. It's a collective. I guess the contract with the collective, but all that stuff is murky. But right now, that's what Eric Olin and his staff are doing. That's what all these other schools are working with. Like that's kind of starting to be the baseline for these NIL deals. Without an official salary cap, we're kind of starting to see players fall into certain areas and what they're asking for.
So let's look at. So help me out here because I feel like you could have some ideas. I have no ideas, but I have a question on what's like the trickle down effect from this. Obviously, then the coach has to look at a level above him, and then they have to look at a level above them. Okay, how can we get more money brought in so that we can offer this money to the players? So does the school then become more not vulnerable, but do they still reach out in more ways than they did before to try and generate money? Is it just you have to just try and focus on, like, do you ask for more of the football's pool? I know football's dealing with the same thing, but I also know that do they generate more at UNM? I feel like here's one of the schools where you can maybe ask that question. Obviously, like Duke and places like that, but I feel like it might be closer than most, so I don't know if that's really an option.
Well, what they're doing is they're just they're still asking for a donation. You still have your by-season tickets, Lobo Club donations, etc. Then you have you can donate to 505 Sports Venture Foundation. The house settlement, you might have heard about that. That deals with direct revenue sharing from universities to student athletes. That hasn't officially gone through yet. They're still kind of piecing together some of the final steps of that puzzle. But we're expecting that at some point this summer, the house settlement, which is kind of like 3 major lawsuits against NCAA, that they rolled into one, which eventually will lead to the universities taking parts of their revenue and putting it back to student athletes, but then you still have the collectives. Like, this is a wonky puzzle still coming all back together. But the easiest answer to your question is yes, everyone is still asking for money. Now, how that goes, at this point in time, it's pretty much what your collective has and what you're good at. So, like, SEC schools can do both right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're pouring money in the football and basketball.
Yeah, look at Alabama. There's no reason why they're just all of a sudden a number 1 team. And so you're telling me it's nothing to do with the money coming from football?
Yes, the money from football, they started to invest that into basketball over the last X amount of years. The coaches have talked about that. Bruce Pearl talks about that a lot, the Auburn head coach.
Should they be able to do that?
Yes, it's their revenue. It's coming into their conference and their school.
That's crazy.
Absolutely, they should be able to do that.
So the football team's just down to the basketball team's like, oh, thank you.
Yes, that's how the business of college sports works.
Okay.
Football funds everything else at the university.
Oh, so that's how it's always been, even before NIL.
Yes.
It's just they weren't pouring it into players.
Well, they're not. So here's the thing: they're not pouring it into players yet. They're just they're pouring it into coaching salaries.
I thought it was going
the
like
programs, travel, etc. for the last few years, and they still can't. They can't do that yet. The money for players is still coming from collectives.
Okay, so
but the SEC, their overall revenue, they use that to kind of rebuild their basketball conference in terms of their investing in the coaches.
Okay,
you look at the SEC coaches over the last few years. They're Rick Barnes, Bruce Pearl. Like, they start paying higher salaries. Then it's also the amenities for players. So all the stuff that mattered before NIL of why you would go to X school. Oh, I'm going here because everything is charter.
Gotcha.
Best facilities, etc. Like, that's what the SEC was doing, started to do, and now they got good basketball paired with an NIL era, and that's why we saw that conference.
I thought it was like the football teams, bringing all this money, so now the basketball team can just throw all these players millions.
Not yet.
The money's just growing on trees for them.
The football team brought in the money, and then they were able to invest that back.
Okay, and make this
into
school
the
a
program.
better school. Gotcha. Okay.
Now, though, if the House settlement goes through, yes.
Yeah, that would be a little unfair.
There's extra
no?
revenue. It's always been unfair, man. These television deals are gigantic for these teams. That's you're fighting the uphill battle right now in college athletics. And that's the one thing with the University of Mexico. They have a fighting chance in basketball because they have a collective that's competitive.
Nice.
Now, what happens in the next 2, 3, 4 years? Does anything come out of it? Because everyone screams, there needs, what are the rules, this or that? Well, are players going to unionize? Is it only going to be football and men's basketball players? Because it's not like we're having these conversations where, Olympic athletes are swimming in the dough. And so it's going to take a while to figure out what it means when people say guardrails are rules. But right now, this is what it is and the discussion that you have to have. You're talking about players moving. What are they making basketball-wise? What should be accepted? What's acceptable? All this stuff is happening on the fly. You got, the Nico Iamaleava situation at Tennessee over the weekend where he's like, I'm going to hold out. And Tennessee's like, peace out. Mm-hmm. Because do you really have a binding contract? It's an NIL deal, but what does that really mean? When you just agree to that, I guess it's kind of like just, it's a personal contract, but who can hold who accountable in that situation?
So it's not as simple as you're not good enough for us to want to give you that much money.
No, I think if Nico was that good, Tennessee might have had a different conversation. They're like, we like you, but we're not going to double your NIL deal right now.
I got you.
And so everyone is just playing their own game in this system, and all you can do is manage it the best you can. And in basketball, you're kind of starting to see, all right, players where they're getting slotted. And with that, we come back on the other side. How much are these teams going to cost? And you get the numbers, and then from there you go, okay, we can do X, Y, and Z to compete at what level? 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. Lobos add 2 more to the roster. Eric Owens lineup starting to come together. Still looking for, we talked about this morning, starting center. Really interested to see what style of player he'd bring in to play at the 5. And, of course, a point guard to run the show as the wings. Looks pretty good. You got yourself, looks like starting small forward, potentially starting shooting guard, and a lot of explosiveness on this roster next season. Kenny Thomas has joined us at 9 a.m. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico.
The commitments via the social media, great breakdown as always by Jeff Grammer in the Albuquerque Journal, getting some insights on the players. Also saw John Rothstein of CBS Sports post yesterday that former UTEP assistant Mike Roberts will become the fourth assistant coach on the Olin staff. They got one more that should be coming in the next day or two. So the pieces to the Lobo puzzle are coming together. How you feeling? What do you think about the players added so far that match up with the style that you expect to see from Eric Olin? There was also a post over the weekend by Travis Branham of 24/7 Sports. And you start piecing it together, all the reports, transfers, this, that. So Zay, there will be 8 teams as of right now in college basketball next year that will have a $10+ million roster.
Wow. How much do you think they're bringing in?
Who knows what they're bringing in?
I'm just wondering what their ratio's looking like. That's crazy.
But they got $10 million. And that's, when we're talking pro sports, that's nothing.
Yeah, it's not.
It's really not.
It's not.
And these numbers are like, oh my goodness, wow. But $10 million for an entire roster is like a steal right now.
Yeah, you can't even get a role player in the NBA for that much.
Like, the times are changing. Might not like it. You might want to say, oh, this needs this, that, or the other need to change. Well, this is what we're dealing with. This is the conversation you're having right now, and this is how you have to have it. You know what the agents are asking for in terms of level of talent and the teams that are paying. It will be interesting to see the performance. Now, I know a lot of people over the last few years were like so hyper-focused on football because that's kind of where it really got started. You know, name, image, and likeness, paying for players, quarterback, etc. What happens if the guy I was really hyped about we paid's not playing? Well, that happens. There's a lot of dead money in college basketball right now. But it's a contract. So it is.
Some of the top schools in revenue were, you got Duke at 45. This is last year. Duke at 45 mil, Syracuse at 34, North Carolina 32, then Michigan State 26 million. So that's a pretty solid return on your investment. So I don't think the college should have any problem.
Well, as
paying 10 million.
Yeah, as of now, because it's not, quote unquote, coming from the colleges yet.
I keep
it's still the collectives. But you're looking at least 8 teams in college basketball, be 10+ million next year. The performances of said teams, we'll watch them throughout the season. I think BYU is actually one of those teams. Now, that one is a fascinating one. Where is that money coming from? How are they funding that team? I think we all know the answer to that, even though that they want to play like, oh, we're standing on our morals. Now, you're paying players to win games at this point in time. There's no moral to it. This is the system we're in. If you have the funds available, you pay the most. And until you can't do that, do all you can. And in the transfer portal era, whether or not you get a better deal, it's still a system in which student athletes are going to go into the portal, think they're going to sign a 1-year NIL deal that's better, and it's going to be year to year. Now, how this slows down, what changes, I have no idea of how you put the genie back in this bottle. Because I hear people screaming all the time, and watched it over the entire weekend with the Tennessee quarterback situation, trying to blame the NCAA, right? They could have been in front of this. They could have had rules. What rules? They would have been sued out of those rules. The student athletes, the ones that aren't in college anymore, the ones that are upset they're not benefiting, those are where all the lawsuits have come from, would have sued the NCAA out of those rules. So I really don't have an idea.
I feel like the same way, people are like, oh, Lucas should be really, really upset because now he lost $100 million because of the Supermax deal. If you stay on the same team, you're eligible for a boost. I think they need to find a way to do that. If you tell a player he's going to get extra benefits
bonus.
if he
you can do that if you want. It's the collective can do whatever the heck they want. They could say, you stick around, we'll try to double your deal if they have the funds. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But right now, the discussion we're having is, hey, these are the numbers that are out there. This is the way the system works. And everyone that's screaming and pointing fingers this or that, what system is going to slow this down? What worked? The NCAA could have came in and put rules on this, as they kind of tried to do with name, image, and likeness came out. And guess what? People sued because they didn't like those rules. And if the NCAA comes back and says, all right, we're going to try to put a revenue cap on this or that, someone's going to sue because that's not fair. But what the heck works for every student athlete? Nothing. The reality of it. So when we're talking transfers, Lobo's putting the roster together, numbers that are out there, here you go. This is what we're working with. This is what you're battling other teams for in the transfer portal when it comes to basketball players. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. Guys, Dave Johnson holding it down. Adrian producing on ProView Networks. I'm JJ Buck, and this is the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's NMFAF.
And KNML, the sports animal. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Play-in tournament begins tonight. One team you have circled as a challenge, as a team that could go on a run. Is there anyone else in the play-in, or is it just the Golden State Warriors that have the opportunity because of the potential matchup? 2-7 Houston and Golden State. Is anyone taking the Rockets? I think that would be a tougher series than people want to give Houston credit for. But we know when it comes to the NBA playoffs, been there, done that matters. And Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, there's a whole lot of been there, done that on the Golden State Warriors roster. The overtime loss on Sunday to the Clippers pushed the Warriors to 7, and that's play-in territory. 7, 8, 9, and 10, or 7 and 8 have 2 opportunities to win 1 to get in the postseason. It begins in the Eastern Conference tonight. The Magic, the 7 seed, against the 8 seed Atlanta Hawks. The Magic are 5.5 point favorites, and then you have the 7 seed Warriors, the 8 seed Memphis Grizzlies. So Golden State 7.5 point favorites. 2 playoff teams fired their coaches down the stretch. Memphis, of course, the Denver Nuggets. Denver, their vice chairman Josh Kroenke spoke yesterday about it. It looks like he's been wanting to fire Michael Malone for a while, which is wild to me. You could see some of the roster issues, questions for the Nuggets, but I think a lot of that just circled around the health of Jamal Murray over the last few seasons because they've been paying dudes. They haven't been shy to do that. Murray maxed out. Michael Porter Jr. maxed out. Jokic. But it's been filling the holes around and putting the right pieces in place. So they have 2 playoff teams. One of them is a home team, and that's the Denver Nuggets 4 seed against the Clippers. And, of course, Memphis Grizzlies fired their coach. That was kind of out of a left field as well. As we've been kind of hyper-focused on Ja Morant, his antics, and the NBA going over the top. There's Ja Care, see a villain, all this stuff. Well, 2 postseason teams have interim coaches, and we'll see if the Grizzlies can put anything together against the Warriors, because it's just a one-game situation for Memphis or Golden State. Win and you're in. Loser will then play the winner of the 9-10 game, Sacramento versus Dallas. Looking forward to talking with Kenny Thomas coming up at 9 a.m. Of course, the Lobo legend, NBA veteran, played 11 seasons in the NBA. Spent some time with the Kings, had a hot and cold relationship with the franchise, but still, he did analyst work for Sacramento. He's been in on, of course, Sabonis. Sacramento made some changes this year. The trade of De'Aaron Fox and that big 3-team deal where Fox goes to San Antonio. They bring over Zach LaVine from Chicago. And, Dallas just, bringing Anthony Davis, you think they tried to sell that this is a better pairing moving forward, AD and Kyrie. Then, unfortunately, man, it sucks that Kyrie got hurt.
Yeah.
Tore his knee up.
That was bad.
The Mavericks and the mess that is, taking on Sacramento. So those games will be tomorrow. This 9-10 matchups: Bulls, Heat in the East, Kings, and Mavericks in the West. So it's easy, right? It's the Warriors are the team that could go on a run. But is there anyone else? And Kenny Thomas does like the Magic, but I don't see it, man. If they win, guess who they get to play? Boston.
Ooh.
And they ain't that team yet.
Yeah.
And I want to like the Rockets, right? I want to like the Magic because they've drafted well the last few years. Paulo Banchero is the next tier star. Like, he's that good of a player. Franz Wagner is really good. Like, they've drafted pieces that are contributing to this roster, but they're not Celtics good. Like, there's two teams above the rest in the Eastern Conference. That's Cleveland and Boston. It's a more open picture in the Western Conference. But when you look at, all right, who could make noise? There's not a hot take for me, man. It's the Warriors, because they are that good, been there, done that team. And everyone else, man, I don't see the Magic beating Boston in a 7-game series. And if the 8th seed, Memphis, Sacramento, or Dallas in the West beating Oklahoma City, or the same thing, like you give me Atlanta, Chicago, Miami against Cleveland, like who would cause them the most trouble?
Yeah, I wish I could try and make a case for somebody. The only team I could think of is Memphis. But even then, I mean, like they might get the edge over Golden State, even tonight.
If Memphis is a 7, they could be that team then.
But then they would play my Lakers, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think they could at least win a round. So I think that's the 7th seed, and it's a disrespect, it's a chip on the shoulder, but it's what Houston has to live with. Because the one thing in the NBA is been there, done that matters.
Okay, so they would end up playing Houston, the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
No shot. See, the Warriors. I have to pick the Warriors first, and because I'm putting them first, I can't pick Memphis.
So I do think, I like Houston, but I do think, are they too young? Because Ja Morant, I get it, man, he's all over the place, but we've seen his stealing when he's locked in. Like Ja Morant, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr. Those dudes are good, but the question is the consistency hasn't been there.
Yeah, exactly. Like they can get hot and win some games, but it's not consistent. And then with Houston, here's the thing though, and I also apply this to OKC. Me being a huge Lakers fan, of course, it's very easy, and I can sleep easy at night saying, "Oh, well, they're younger teams. The Lakers will be able, to out-experience them." But also, I remember thinking the same thing in 2012 when Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant were coming to play the Lakers and Kobe right after, Kobe had just won some championships, and that team ran us off the court because we weren't able. When you have these young guys and all they know is winning, and then if they come into a playoff series, if they squeak out the first game, especially if it's a close one, like if they go through some adversity and they mess around and win one of those games, now their confidence level is through the roof, and all they know is seeing the ball go through the net. So, they're ignorant to knowing what failure looks like. So sometimes, if they catch fire, it's hard for these young teams to cool off. So that is one thing I'm worried about because, that Thunder team, of course, they ran into LeBron and D-Wade. So that was a really hard matchup. But I do think that a team like Houston or OKC, if they have a really good first series and maybe some blowout wins, they could start seeing the court as if it's the regular season and start dominating.
I think that's fair with them. And you look at OKC, they won a playoff series last year. They easily dispatched New Orleans. Then, they got beat in 6 by Dallas. We saw, the Mavericks, of course, go on to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Dallas then beat Minnesota in the conference finals before losing in 5 to the Boston Celtics. And that's why that there's so much more variance in the West. I think that gap at the top of the East, Cleveland, Boston, I can't talk myself into anyone else. I trust Cleveland. Cleveland hasn't necessarily, a bunch of dudes that have been there, done that. But it's similar to OKC. What did they do last year? Cleveland took them 7 games to beat Orlando in the first round, but they got to the second round, lost to Boston in 5, and this is a Cleveland team that front court, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley is really good. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. Acquired DeAndre Hunter, a good wing player at the trade deadline. Boston and OKC are very similar in terms of their level of experience versus who they're going against. But I just look at that Western Conference because I'm also like, is it LA? And I'm talking as a whole. Or are the Lakers and Clippers second and third best teams right now going into the playoffs?
It's got to be them. And also, I can't help but to think of this, JJ, and I got to give you props. Because I don't know if I've ever seen something like this happen in the middle of a season where you had everyone complaining about the style of play or NBA ratings, everything's falling off. and then you have and you were on the hill saying, look, the game's just fine. Like, the way they play is just fine. It's better than ever. But now you look at this situation. I don't know if ever, I know there's a stat out there that proves this. I don't know if ever you've had the Western Conference, like, be this close and, like, really not have any idea who could come out of it. It is like, and I don't mean just from the visual aspect. Like, you look at the records, we did not know about 4 to 5 different seeds until the last 2 games of the season. And then you look at the East, and it wasn't, it took a day before the West for them to figure out their seedings, but still both sides, like, I think this might be one of the most competitive NBA seasons I've ever seen since I started watching basketball.
Well, there's 5 teams that you'd say, oh, you wouldn't be surprised if they're in the conference finals.
Yeah.
Right? So it's Oklahoma City, the Lakers. Dude, the Clippers are that team. With Kawhi Leonard playing that way.
Oh, I hate to see it.
I get it. They're the Clippers. They've never been there. So it's easy to say they won't get there. But they're the hottest team in the NBA down the stretch.
And they're getting hot at the right
time.
That
game against Golden State was huge to me. Because Golden State was locked in. They're both playing for something on the Sunday. And the Clippers got it done. I think they can continue to build off of that. You have the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
And then the Nuggets, man. I'm not high on the Nuggets. I just think that Kroenke, he's been unsettled with the general manager and Michael Malone for a while. Finally fired them, trying to get that late season spark. He's like, heck, I was going to make a change after the season, so why not do it now with 5 games left in regular season?
I didn't know if that was him, like, giving up on the season and just being like, all right, we're going to throw in the towel. And then also, real quick, over you look at the Pistons. I heard they're the first team that ever triple their wins. Like,
yeah, they've been unbelievable.
You triple your wins. So the NBA's like, yeah, all around. There's just everything you could ask out of a season. I think we're getting it right now.
Well, the trades definitely helped.
Uh-huh.
There's that curveball of Luka Doncic going to Los Angeles Lakers. I understand watching it, the style of play for some people might not be what they like, but at this point in time, all these series are going to be legit. There's going to be a couple sweeps first round, but when we're looking at the Western Conference, trying to piece through who's going to get hot, the matchups we're going to see in the second round, the performances, the young guns at the top. Are you just too young, or is it, hey, we were that good, we're going to continue to be that good with Oklahoma City and Houston? The East, to me, it is a lot more cut and dry. I don't think anyone can push Boston or Cleveland. I think the Knicks Pistons is going to be a fun series. I think Cade Cunningham could be the best player on the floor, but I think the depth of the Knicks when you got Karl Anthony Towns and Bridges and Hart, I think that's ultimately going to dispatch Detroit. Milwaukee could have been a problem if Dame Lillard is there. Like, Giannis can go out there and beat the Pacers because that's going to be 180 to 175. The scores in those games. In terms of Eastern Conference Finals, I think the East is set at 1 versus 2, but the West is wide open. 505-246-0610. We'll talk hoops with Kenny Thomas coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Of course, Lobo basketball adds 2 more to the roster. How you feeling? Eric Owens starting to put the foundation in place. What do you think? You've seen the highlights. You're able to look at the recruiting, read some of the background on these players. How do you feel about where Lobo basketball is? And is it the Warriors and no one else in terms of playing teams that could go on a postseason run? The NBA play-in begins tonight. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Sportsbook.
A lot of news with Shedeur Sanders. Set up a visit with the New York Giants. Is that something that was always planned? Are the Giants getting a little unsettled? Is it coming down from the ownership group? Yeah, you signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. We know that's not long-term options. But it kind of felt like they weren't sold on Sanders at 3, but got a pre-draft visit. And that's a week before the draft. And Shedeur Sanders is the number 2 quarterback in this class. But he's also kind of the wild card, because could he go 3? Could he go 9? As someone else going to move up for Shedeur? Because we know the need of quarterback pushes some of these players higher. And right now, it's Cam Ward. He's going 1 to the Tennessee Titans. And if you need a quarterback, you got to do your work on Shedeur and see where he fits in. Because the rest of the guys, I don't know if there's a third one that sneaks in the first round. I think there's a lot of interesting, 3rd, 4th round quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart.
Yeah, someone could trade up for Dart, maybe.
But it comes down to Shedeur Sanders, and if you're the New York Giants, and Brian Daboll and company is still there. So are they going to fire him after 1 year if it's not quite great with Shedeur Sanders? I'm going to see, a Chicago situation. I'm really interested to talk this one out with you Zay, but also what CU is doing. I kind of understand for Travis Hunter, but not really for Shedeur.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We'll get into that, but right now we got to get the attention of our sweet deal here in a second so we can get them in studio. But yeah, Shedeur Sanders, the ultimate wild card in all this. And I'm really interested to see how those teams are going to evaluate him for the draft.
Anywhere but Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't think Cleveland's taking him.
He would shut down
number
there.
2.
He would shut down there.
Well, sure.
That's the Shedeur people are scared of. Oh, will he do that? Would happen in Cleveland? Yes, him, Dion. They would start attacking the owners. Yeah,
that's entirely possible. I think Cleveland is, it's Carter or Hunter for sure. So we'll get there. But I know what you're doing for sure. Saturday, May 10th, Somos ABQ. It's a one-day festival. We're talking. It's a celebration of the people of Albuquerque, the flavors, the music, the art, the culture. And Edgar Gutierrez is here. Edgar, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. I am already circling my calendar for Saturday, May 10th. Somos ABQ. So how did this idea come about?
Well, we wanted to write a love letter to Albuquerque. We wanted to say, hey, Albuquerque, we know how special you are. We also know how quirky you are. And we want to celebrate you together. So we decided to put on a huge music festival. The first one had 4 stages with all kinds of different music. And this time we're having 3 stages, but we're also having interactive art installations, youth and families areas, activities for youth and families to do there all day since kids 12 and under get in for free. And we're going to be just having amazing Chromeo from Chromeo DJ set, huge EDM artists. Shannon and the Clams, huge rock artists. And we have local bands like Red Light Cameras. We have JD Nash and the Rash of Cash. And just we have a tableau stage with flamenco dancers, Spanish guitar, and just tons of fun for the family.
Fun, that's what matters. It's fun for everyone, and you're here today because it's our sweet deal. You get an adult ticket for just $25, so that's half off the entry price for an entire day of fun and entertainment.
That's a good deal.
That is an amazing deal to get in, and your Saturday set in from whenever you guys open to whenever you guys close.
Yeah, the show starts at 3. Okay. You'll be able to show up at 3:30. I think the show starts at 3:30. You'll be able to show up at NHCC. There's VIP. You know, it's maybe a little bit more than $25 for the VIP.
Understandable.
But $25 is a great deal. You'll be able to buy some for you and your girl and bring the kids.
Yeah, 12 and under is free. Mentions that the National Hispanic Cultural Center Saturday, May 10th. So sportsanimalabq.com at 9 a.m. the deal will go live. You can go out there. And this is time of year. The weather's great. Summer, looking for stuff to do. And it is the beauty of Albuquerque, man. I understand that a lot of stuff we got to deal with. Understandable. But to also embrace and enjoy what we have, and that is the diversity of so many different things in the city.
Absolutely. There's so much going on here in this city and so much talent, so much creativity that we just want to celebrate all of it. You know, this is a celebration of celebrations. Everyone who's involved in creating this landscape of Somos is incredibly capable, talented, well-connected, and it's just great to have them all in one roof. What's it like
just working to put something like this together? It's usually pretty easy when you present the message of kind of the atmosphere, the vibe that you want to get, because we're talking to, you said, artists, performers, food, just mixing it all together.
It takes obviously a team effort. Like we're really well delegated. Everyone has a good little job that we're able to complete just to make sure we hit those deadlines with the marketing, with going on radio interviews, with making sure artists get paid, making sure they have their equipment list. Every element of this is really well thought out, and it just has to be organized. And there's so much going on, it's impossible for one person to know everything. So that's why it takes a beautiful team. And it's great because everyone who's doing it has so many things going on. This is kind of like our side passion project for everyone, but we're so into it.
And it's going to be awesome. Saturday, May 10th, the Somos ABQ Festival, talking everything food, music, art, family, fun for you and the significant other. Sweet deal for just $25 yourself, one ticket to the Somos ABQ Festival, Saturday, May 10th. Go on to our website, 9 a.m., sportsanimalabq.com. I appreciate it, man. This is awesome that you and your crew put something like this together. Events like this are great for the city, and can't wait for Saturday, May 10th, man.
Thank you so much. We'll see you there.
Appreciate it. Our sweet deal goes live at 9 a.m. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We're all moving a little faster now.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor.
Shedeur Sanders, the wild card quarterback, not because he won't be the second quarterback selected. Just what's the range going to be? Is it going to be 3? Is it going to be 9? Is the interest from the Steelers real? And the Steelers brought him in for one of their top 30 pre-draft visits. What do we see with Shedeur Sanders? But the news yesterday also out of Colorado, very interesting, but very on brand. Zay Johnson, JJ Buck with you this morning here on The Sports Animal. So we know Shedeur going to get drafted. Where is that going to be? We will find out. But what we do also know is it's a new era. Colorado. Travis Hunter, unbelievable. Heisman Trophy winner. But the University of Colorado announced yesterday they're going to retire the jersey numbers of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. So Sanders wore number 2, Hunter wore number 12, and they will become officially untouchable during the spring game this Saturday at Folsom Field.
I surprisingly understand and agree. It's just very, very premature. But I'll let you give your thoughts before I give why I'm on board with this.
Travis Hunter's a no-brainer. Dude won a Heisman Trophy. Like any program that has a Heisman Trophy winner, unless you're one that has multiple, somehow you have 5, 6, whatever Heisman Trophy winners. Like I could see that for Hunter. Man, this play for Sanders, to me, is just doing too much. I get it. Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, they reignited the Buffaloes program. They brought so much hype. They brought expectations back. But to me, that doesn't mean you should have your jersey retired. Like, that's such a special thing.
Yeah.
Like, such a special moment. I think you can credit Shedeur and realize, yeah, he was a part of this revolution for Colorado football with Deion Sanders. But this, with Shedeur, no, this looks just like so much like, of course, your dad's there, so that's why you're getting your number retired.
You think that's why he's getting retired?
He played for 2 years, man.
He did.
And he didn't. They were 1-11 and became relevant. That's a credit to what they did. Like, it wasn't fake. It wasn't hype. It wasn't just social media posts. It was legit.
I feel
but this is just like, to me, this is like a marketing gone over the top. Like, instead of just honoring these dudes, maybe having the conversation about Travis Hunter, the guy that just won a Heisman playing both ways. Like, oh, we got it. We have to do it. Why do you have to do it for Shedeur Sanders?
I feel like Travis being a guy that was playing both sides and then him being also as popular and likable as he is off the field as well, I feel like all of his shine it took a little bit away from Shedeur. I feel like when you look at a lot of those Colorado games, like there's other Colorado players who are about to get drafted because of Shedeur. I feel like a lot of those games.
So do we have to retire every potential first-round pick's jersey?
No, we don't. I think when you look in hindsight, though, I think it definitely you have to do both of them because as a duo, we were just talking about the collective and how important money is nowadays. I feel like they are the reason why. As long as for the next couple of years Colorado does this right, I feel like when you look in hindsight, you'll be like, okay, Colorado's been relevant for 10 plus years because they have the money to get these players, but it all started with Shedeur and Travis. So I feel like they have basically given Colorado so much momentum where they'd have to try and mess this up. Like for them to
They do have momentum, absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you need to retire your jersey.
You don't
Like
need
that.
to- I agree.
That's like saying you're.
I just understand. It's like I see why you guys are doing it. No, I wouldn't elect to do it. But like I can't be mad at it because I'm like, okay, well, I wouldn't be shocked if for the next 15 years Colorado's consistently ranked because now money matters so much. And Shedeur and Travis like started them. Like right now they can go. I don't want to say band for band, but like they can spend with amongst the top of the schools. Will they? Maybe all the time? No, but I think they can because of Shedeur and Travis.
Like this is one where I saw it. I'm like, I don't want to just. I sound like an old man screaming out clouds right now. But at some point, like that's a special honor.
It is,
and it feels like they're just doing that, not because Shedeur was that good, but it's because this is the last time they can market these guys right now. Which it's not going to be the last time. Deion Sanders is still the head coach at Colorado.
For sure.
Those dudes are still going to be really marketable for that program moving forward. But it's like, so every player that brings back hype is now jersey retirement worthy?
Like, I think, for example, like you see Mike Vick, where's he at again? What college is he just going to be the coach? And this is going to prove my point.
Like Norfolk State?
Yeah. So say he goes there, right? And he just all of a sudden puts them in position where now they can compete with schools for years to come. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, he got put in like some type of ring of honor quicker than a coach that could go to Alabama and start winning, because it's like you took a school that started down here.
That's what you're supposed to do.
100%, but they did it to the extreme in Colorado, like to the extreme. Like
not a poor school; they were just bad at football.
they have great scenery. So like their
So
location.
did Lobos retire Devin Dampier's number?
No, but if
Why
they
not?
if they were to if they put
First team all conference quarterback.
Because did he put the Lobos in position to
Got
right
Bronco
now?
Mendenhall a new job.
He did for Mendenhall, but did he put them in position to where if Dampier came here, right? If Mendenhall came here in Dampier and they put the Lobos in the position where they're like able to get ranked, or say even Donovan Dent, say he stayed here for 4 years, right, and then he leaves and Coach.
Well,
McKenna.
yeah, he has a record to back it up. Shedeur Sanders was like 13-12
because the first year was. You know, in college, you can't. It's hard to just 1-11. They won a decent amount of games that
You're
first year.
awesome, man. But this is like telling you you're one of the greatest ever.
At Colorado, he probably is.
Cordell Stewart. Do you know Colorado won a national championship, right?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
not a bunch of those numbers retired.
Oh yeah, and that is the main pushback I'm seeing is, okay, I'm cool with this, but where's Cordell's at? Okay, so they're like, look, if you're gonna do this, put Cordell in too, then we'll be.
This
able
is
to
awesome,
understand.
man. This is Colorado. You're winning because those dudes are good, and then it makes you sound terrible if you're like against it because you're like, oh, you just hate Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders. The hype machine. They backed it up. That's why we're still talking about CU, because Shedeur's that dude. Travis Hunter's that good. This is a win for Colorado. Whether or not you like it or not, this is a win for Colorado. Edward, you're on the opening drive. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, good morning, guys. Remember last week I talked to Kenny Thomas and I told him I had multiple intramural championships? Well, they retired my jersey in multiple universities. But you guys prompted me to look at Archie Griffin, who was the only man to win 2 Heisman trophies. And it took a while, but in 1999, Ohio State did retire his jersey number. It's pretty interesting. But I have another thought for you. President Theodore Roosevelt, I looked at the NCAA website because I just try to educate myself. In 1906, he established the NCAA, because there were so many serious injuries and deaths in college football that many universities wanted to drop their programs. So we established the NCAA. Now, where we are today, and, when I always reference the Joker, right, he says people think I'm crazy, but I'm just ahead of the curve. I want you guys to really process this. Now that you have wealthy people influencing colleges and saying, hey, like Michigan, hey, let's put together $10 million and go get our own quarterback. And the basketball player that left UNM and went to Texas Tech, and that guy that made a bunch of money in natural gas and oil, they're going to pay him $4 million. The NCAA has lost complete control, as we know. They have no governing decision-making power at all, at least with college football and basketball. So what's to say if you're basically an entity, an entertainment entity that's generating huge revenue, what's to say that you even have to follow with classifications? Who's to say that if a guy can't only play 4 years? Case in point, the quarterback at Vanderbilt, the guy from here, Albuquerque. What's to say that if you're not sanctioned by the NCAA, that you could have a guy play 7 or 8 years for your organization? I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds unfathomable, but I'm just telling you, you need to open up your minds, because everything, chaos, it's chaos, and chaos is going to reign, and all the structure's gone. So what we know, or what we think we know, we have to unlearn and learn new things, because I think that's where we're headed. I think it's going to be, it's no longer amateur athletics. These are semi-professional
Yeah,
sports
they're getting
leagues.
paid to play. But I think that, to your point, Edward, I think at some point football and basketball are going to have different rules than everyone else. But
agreed.
If dudes are there 7 to 8 years, like this, it's going to lose its pull. Like college athletics, it's not, to me, the transfer portal, like it's not going to kill it. But like if you're rooting for a guy for like 8 years, and it's like you have an 18-year-old on your roster and then that dude's 28. Like then I don't think you're going to be able to maintain your momentum moving forward.
JJ, and I agree with you. It seems weird, right? But if you looked back 7 or 8 years from today and said, here's where we are today, I just think anything's within the realm of possibility. And major college sports, these guys are fanatics, and they will pay to see their team be successful. So it was just something I was thinking about today, but I appreciate you letting me express it. But it's a good conversation point to see how all this stuff unwraps. Have a great day, guys.
Appreciate it, Edward. And that's the thing, like, it's how do you manage both? And that's the understanding that the revenue's not going away. The revenue to the athletes isn't going away, but it's not revenue for everyone. And in college athletics, the rules are still for everyone, right? Oh, everyone can do name and image license, but only X amount of players are getting it because that's what people care about. And so how do you have that shift? And I think what he's talking about, it's going to be a shift away from everyone being the same to understanding that, all right, your football and men's basketball players are going to be held different standards. Now, women's basketball, though, there's players passing up on the WNBA because they're making more money in college right now. The WNBA draft was last night. Paige Beckers went number 1 overall. But the player, Olivia Miles, was projected number 2 overall pick, and she transferred from Notre Dame to TCU. We had another first-round pick, Tania Latson, who went from Florida State to South Carolina to continue their career because they're making more money in college. So at the top in women's basketball, they're making money. And then so that will be the thing, is like, how do you separate the sports? How do you separate the rules for everyone that's kind of got us in this situation? Because not all sports are created equal. Not all NIL deals are created equal. Not all revenue sharing is going to be the same.
Yeah, and this might not be the best example for using Caitlin Clark for women's basketball, but even in college for her, I will say like her NIL deal totaled to about $3.1 million. With her, once she went to
you lost money, dude.
Yeah, once she went to the pros, though, I mean that Nike deal for $28 million. But
yeah, if
you're not just going to scrap that deal.
No. So here's the thing, like everyone's focused on football and men's basketball. Like, oh, it's got to be different. Okay, well, guess what? The top 4 picks in the WNBA draft last night are signing a contract for $78,000. The top NIL owners in women's basketball, y'all, made $1.1 million last season. So is it one where just football and basketball as a whole, do you create new rules for them and then the collegiate model with earning potential stays the same for everyone else,
I think
that's a path forward.
There needs to be
potentially.
I think there needs to be a percentage, and that percentage should apply to everyone. Now, as far as
because I don't think you're able to find something that works when it applies to everyone. We got to take this break. 505-246-0610. Kenny Thomas set to join us at 9 o'clock. It is opening drive here on The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Allstate.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it. You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
All right, enough screaming at the clouds, transfer portal, monies. Here's the retirement. We got the play-in tournament starting 10-9. Lobo Hoops adds 2 more players. And can anyone get hot and go on a run when it comes to the NBA play-in? We got Kenny Thomas set to join us at 9 a.m. Right around the corner, we'll talk to KT. Also get his thoughts on the Masters. You know, Kenny Thomas is a big golf guy. And, of course, you know, his thoughts. Does he believe the Magic can go on a run? He mentioned it, but now we know the matchups. Is Orlando an East playing team? Like, you get something done. And can anyone really press the top 2 in the Eastern Conference with how good Cleveland and Boston have been all season long? In the West, you can talk yourself into different scenarios. You can look at the Lakers, Luka and LeBron. The Clippers, I get they're the Clippers, but Kawhi and James Harden are hot and healthy. And you have the Warriors. Still got Nikola Jokic there. And the Nuggets, a 4 seed. We'll talk with Kenny Thomas. Hoops, scoops, alley-oops, so much more with the legend. Coming up next, it is the opening drive right here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Hour.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. 4 of
Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
82 down. Now the postseason commences. 2 games to win 1. Well, that's what the 8th and 7th seeds have. It gets going tonight. Magic Hawks, Orlando 5.5 point favorites, and they got the Warriors and Grizzlies. Golden State 7.5 point favorites as the play-in gets going. The playoffs right around the corner. Lobo Hoops adds 2 more to their roster, so they got a lineup. We knew they were going to have the players. It was just, all right, what's are they going to look like? Lobo fans can calm down just a little bit. Eric Olin and company, they're going to put a roster together, and then we'll be able to start laying expectations once we see who they got. Kenny Thomas, the Lobo legend, NBA veteran, joining us in studio. Zay Johnson, JJ Buck with you. What's up, man?
Hey, man. A little under the weather. You see my eyes are all puffy.
The wind.
Oh, man.
The allergies, the pollen.
Yeah, and I went to the urgent care yesterday. I'm on eye drops, man. So, hey, I was gonna hit you with my stunner shades and keep my sunglasses on, but I'm like, I can't do that to my boy. What's up, Zay?
What's going on, Kenny? Nice to see you, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Lobos got a starting 5 now, right?
Yes.
They just picked up 2 more guys just yesterday?
Picked up a pair of brothers yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Porter Jr., and then Porter, right?
So Kevin Patton Jr. and Kalai Patton.
Okay, Patton Jr.
Can't wait for the pronunciation.
I said Porter, but yeah. Patton, yeah.
But so Kevin, 6'8" forward, 8 minutes a game in 27 games last year at USC, but he was a all-conference freshman selection while at San Diego the prior year.
Yeah, average 3 points?
Yeah, it's 3 points per game, but definitely an explosive player. You look at San Diego, average 9 points, 4 boards.
Yeah.
A little over a block a game. So you got a bouncy dude on the wing. We'll see what his brother is, because his brother was a walk-on redshirt. Didn't play at USC. So it's kind of like a package deal, maybe. Like, if you want Kevin, got to make sure his little brother comes. At least he's got another body on the roster, a 6'4" kid. But you're starting to see it. You know, Antonio Chol came in, 6'9" JUCO player that could stretch the floor.
I mean, he's gonna get kids.
Like,
man.
Yeah, I was never worried about that.
You don't got to worry about that. Who wouldn't want to come to Mexico? And at the same time, you got Kurt Roth.
Yeah, they're paying. They're
505. They pay it, man.
Yeah, man.
They're even paying walk-ons. So
everyone's. Do you see that? So this from Jeff Goodman, Field of 68, college hoops reporter. He pulled about 25 coaches, because now you're starting to see where players are getting slotted.
Yeah.
Right? So said the elite guys in college basketball. So cream of the crop. going for about $2.5 to $4 million.
Okay.
Per year. All conference players. Just like so, if you, all conference players, about $1.5 to $2.5 million.
Insane.
Just your starter, about $500,000 to $1.5 million.
Insane.
And your bench is $200,000 to $700,000.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I'm laughing. I'm not laughing because I'm jealous or anything, man. I'm happy. I was able to pave the way for these kids to be able to get paid. You know what I mean? Guys like myself.
Are you in any of these class action lawsuits for the payback?
I wish that Charles, that O'Bannon thing that started. Yeah, I didn't get none of that, man. Unless it just dipped in my bank account and I don't know about it. But yeah, no. I'm just happy that there's movement, right? It's springtime right now, and it's not even summer yet, right? You know what I mean? So it's a matter of like what's gonna happen. Yeah. Like I said, man, obviously there's gonna be players that come. Once again, Kurt Roth, amazing over there at 505 SVF, everything that he does for this organization, and our new AD, right? Trying to figure it out. He's been here for 4 or 5 months, and the hire of Ryan Berriman back. I got to give Ryan some
coming
love.
home.
Yes, he's coming. He left, came right back. So that's good right there. But I got to address this. I know you guys have talked about this, though, but the football player that left and then he came back, the quarterback, right? Isn't he back?
Who are we talking about?
The one that left, the quarterback from last year. What's his name, Dampier?
He's at Utah.
The quarterback. No. Oh, he's not coming back?
No.
Oh, man, maybe that was April Fool's, man.
Not at all.
Man, they got me.
I'm like,
I was like, what's happening?
Transferred to Utah, got his new NIL deal.
All the Louisville fans
Playing
hard to
Big
start
12.
beating at home. I'm like, wait.
No,
my bad, you guys. My bad. That was April Fool's. They got me on that one.
They got you.
Yeah.
No.
They just set me up on live radio.
As long as you didn't say Dent, though. Dent would have really hurt the hearts.
No. He home. No. Yeah.
So, and then yesterday, it's official.
What's up?
Every player from last year's team is gone. So Sacco finally went in the transfer portal. Who knows what? Might have been a little nudge like, all right, it's your time. But so that's what's kind of wild. You know there's turnover, but for Eric Olin to come in and he gets to pick every single one of the dudes that's going to be on that roster next year.
Yeah, obviously he started with the staff. That's a key component. And then just figuring it out, man. You got to figure out who really wants to be here. It's going to be interesting to see how everything unfolds. I really don't know anything about anybody yet.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see. I've seen what I've seen on social media, but that's one thing. Yeah.
Now, this is one where it's like, I can't wait to see if there's an open practice at some point. Like, just to, like, what is this going to look like?
Yeah, open practice is totally different, man. When you get into the game, it's the coaching staff identifying the players' roles, and then you have to play to that certain standard. And pickup ball is pickup ball.
At least you get a chance of, all right, what are the expectations for these dudes going to be? Because one thing I just said, we see highlight clips, because you're going to look good in your 60-second YouTube video.
Yeah, what do those mean?
I know.
I mean, come on.
That's what we got right now.
The guys he's getting has not played very much, and the one I forgot the white kid he picked up in the beginning. He committed like a couple weeks ago. I
high
can't
school
think of his
kid.
name. Yeah,
Jake Hall.
He looked nice. Yes, I like him. He looked nice. But at the same time, between high school and college, it's a totally different game. Now you have these young men in college that play several years now. So you're playing with grown men from the standpoint of men that should be playing professional ball nowadays, getting like 6, 7, 8, 9 years to play in the NCAA, to play in college, right? So it's an interesting situation.
Yeah, we had the extra years with the COVID season, and now the JUCO ruling guys are getting that extra year on top of it. But it's also with the NIL exchange game. So the older teams have made an impact. Like guys sticking around that might have tried to go to the NBA, see if they could be a top 60 pick, or realizing, hey, this is better to stick around on this NIL deal for a year. And ultimately, too, that benefits the product.
Oh, without a doubt. Proven product is always one of the best things, right? And the one thing with me, it comes down to being able to get better every year. That's why when I was in college, they gave you 4 years, and you had a redshirt year possibly to where you had a 5th year. But it's about progressively getting better. If somebody has an opportunity to obviously go play professional ball, I mean, obviously you have to play your freshman year still, but if you have chance to go, man, you can't hate on these kids. But now you got a guy like JT Toppin, man, made $1.52 million last year. Now he's making $4 million. So he's getting his bag, and it's very well deserved because he got them far in the tournament. But with the revolving door of these players coming and going is very interesting to me with this portal. It kind of sucks. And
it does. Like I said, it's hard to buy in, but I don't. We always talk about what's going to change and
nothing.
Yeah, I don't. What model? Like, are you going to get to a point where there's a willingness and understanding that football and men's and women's basketball, because women's basketball, you have some players making $1 million with their NIL deals and stuff. Like, are you able to maybe govern those differently than everyone else? So you start to at least say, all right, you can sign, 1-2 year player contracts with the school, but I don't know what route it goes, because every time the NCAA said, oh, we're going to try to do this, there's they get sued out of putting any caps on anything.
Yeah, you got to also keep in mind, some of these schools are not paying these kids too. Which
that's around
is
the corner with the house settlement. Yep.
You know what I mean? To where these kids are not getting their money like they should be. That's why some of these kids are transferring, because they're being promised certain things and they're not being compensated, right? A contract, okay. You talk about a contract, it can be binding to a certain extent, but then you got to pay the legal fees in order to go through that process to be able to get it back, and then hopefully the judge determines, hey, you get to pay the other person's legal fees type things, to where you don't have to pay them. It's a headache after that fact, right? So I think that's why kids are transferring and trying to go get their bag. So it's the real wild west out there when it comes to this portal, man.
Yeah,
and I think it sucks, but that's just me.
I can understand the frustration, but it's also, this is the way the game is played right now, and this is kind of the way we have to talk about it, and understanding of what players' values are. They're starting to find their slots, and then you get an understanding of, okay, to compete at X level, hopefully you have enough people investing in your collective at this moment in time to pay it out. And there's also another report, when we're talking this essentially becoming pro sports, this almost sounds like nothing right now. But,
it is pro sports.
24/7 Sports said, as of now, when you piece it together, because nothing is officially out there, it's just reports of player gets, $4 million. Like, they don't have to release it like, there's a salary cap or anything. But there's gonna be 8 teams as of now paying $10+ million for that.
It's professional, man. It is, and these kids deserve it because they're out there playing their guts out, and the kids get their tuitions paid. That should be a given, especially with the sweat and effort that the men and women are going out there and trying to help these universities win, and they deserve it all. If they can get it, man. Because I'm saying it that way because not everybody's going to the NBA. Everything has to fall in line with the certain team, being on a certain team to be able to get your opportunity. Because when you get to the NBA, everybody can play to a certain extent. That's why they're there. That's why there's a 14, 15 team roster. And you got to fight for those, man. So the reason I'm saying that is, hey, get your bag, man. I wish I could have gotten paid in college. Back in the day, I got $420 a month for scholarship to live off campus. To live on campus, it was like $100 because they were feeding us and different things like that, right? But I wanted to live off campus. But then at the same time, I got Pell Grant, a couple grand each semester, which helped. But in the summer, I was able to work. If we would have been able to work back then, oh my goodness, just work. We really didn't work, no. but if we had a chance to actually work, it would have been cool. But yeah.
So I know everyone's head spinning, but this conversation is all right. This is what's going on. This is what you're looking at roster wise, and then you hope you can have a fun season and be competitive and enjoy it. There you go.
Yeah, right. I hate to compare this, but think about the NBA. Mm-hmm. There's a revolving door to where there's players coming. There's maybe 5 to 7 guys that probably have legitimate spots on that team, depending on the situation, right? So it changes. This is just one of those things to where now it's in college. It's changing. there was a ride for like 4 or 5 years with Patino, obviously, right? You gotta keep that in mind and enjoy that. And remember that experience, not enjoy it. Remember that experience, because it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And then when I have my show this year, it's gonna be very interesting when I have my call-in show this coming season.
It's because we know the expectations are high. It's Lobo basketball, but
I don't think they can do that though right now.
That's what I'm saying. It's you have a fan base that says, hey, no, we should be up here now.
Yeah.
But then with the turnover, new coach, what is it going to be? That's why your show is going to be popping, because the first part of the season, we're going to be learning who these guys are, how they play together. It is going to be a roller coaster ride. It's not going to be the consistency that we saw. It's just the reality of it. But then, the grand scheme of things is that you have fans asking yourself, well, is this what I have to go through every year now?
So, and at the same time, the Mountain West Conference, man, depending on if these 4 teams go out of the Mountain West Conference, which hasn't been determined yet, it's going to be interesting how coming in how the Lobos are going to be in the Mountain West Conference, because it's not, I don't know if it's going to be as competitive as it was.
Well, this year, the Mountain West block, it's the same. It's after this upcoming season.
Okay, so it's the following year, 2026.
Those teams leave.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was like immediate, because this is the time to a certain extent.
2026 will be different.
It's still going to suck, though.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah. But we still have those 4 teams around, which is cool. San Diego State, Utah State, and Boise State, right?
Yeah, so it's San Diego State, Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, Utah State.
Get out of here.
Yeah, they're going.
No. They terrible. Just kidding.
Yeah, they are getting out of here.
I just said that. I'm just. Yeah.
They are getting out of here. Hoser, what's going on, man? What are you doing?
Good morning, Kenny, JJ. Doing well. Kenny made a comment about the revolving door and how you stop that. So I'm with you. I'm kind of old school. I like to see guys hang around and not just necessarily go after the money all the time. And so yesterday I was posing the question, Kenny, when is the atmosphere, the other things besides money, start to affect some of these players to get them to stay here? And so I was kicking that around with another buddy of mine, and he had a interesting perspective. He thought, some of these guys, they're not all going to be NBA players. So they're trying to capitalize on what they can right now. And so that's why you see a lot of the turnover moving around, because, look at JT, for example, is one that he used. The guys coming back to Tech, from what we heard the last few years, that we thought he was ready for the NBA, but as you can see, he's trying to work on that three-point shot because the NBA game has changed so much. And so I think he hasn't quite, mastered that, where he's hitting that three-point shot at least 30% of the time that he's trying them. And so I think that's why he's, you see him coming back, and he's still cashing in on some of that money just in case he doesn't quite make it to the NBA money status, or, to the top of the league there. So what do you think about that, as far as that's the reason why we see so many guys just chasing the money and trying to capitalize on that, because they know that trying to get to the NBA is really minimal?
Thanks, man. I don't know if he was listening to the show earlier, but yeah, I basically just said all of that, but I'll cliff note this thing. I see you laughing.
Good old cliff note.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, I'm so happy for these kids that are able to get paid during college. They deserve every penny of it, because they are their product.
Well, it's
their
why
product.
You have these massive television deals.
Exactly.
It's why you have this conference movement, because of the programs, thus the athletes.
Exactly. The university's getting paid the money, so how come the kids shouldn't get paid the money, right? Chase your bag. Chase your bag. It's a part. He said it perfectly, and I've said it before. You don't know if you're going to the NBA. It's a small percentage, man, and then you have to figure out how to stay there. And then I want to address the fact that when it comes to JT, he don't necessarily have to be able to shoot threes, man. So obviously the NBA has changed when it comes to actually big men playing on the perimeter. Big men don't play in the post anymore. That's why I like Joker so much, because he does both. He's so versatile with what he does. That's why he is, to me, the best big man in the NBA right now, and he's on your squad. But it's one of those things. JT, rebound. JT's quick off his feet. JT he can run. There's multiple things. When I got to the NBA, man, when I was on the Houston Rockets, there was 8 guys in front of me, and I had Charles Barkley as one of those guys and Akeem Olajuwon as the second, right? I was just happy to just be there, and I was making $600,000 my first year before taxes, right? So I'm like, come on, man, you kidding me? That's so much money. And then I'm like, man, when I get on the floor, I was told to knock down shots, rebound the ball, and run the floor. And when I first got in the NBA, man, I was shooting threes. That's how I was able to stay on the floor, because we were ISO, and I had Steve Francis, Katino. Me and Steve Francis got drafted the same year. I had Katino Mobley, and I had Walt Williams, and then I had some other guys that were ISOing before me. So I had to figure out how to stay on the floor, man. Once you get to the NBA, it's about figuring out how to stay on the floor.
Yeah, you mentioned there's player development, but there's also, if I'm JT Toppin, I think he realizes, he's going to have an opportunity to play in the NBA. But it's also, I'm guaranteeing myself $4 million versus maybe being a lottery pick, maybe going 20, maybe going 25. Like, of course, I'm taking that set. It's not just because he's not shooting threes. This is a guaranteed $4 million versus the unknown of where you're slotting in.
When I saw that, man,
like, of course.
When I saw JT coming back, I was smiling, man, because that's the best thing he could do.
Yeah.
And then the minimum he would have made another $1.52 million. Like, come on, man, before taxes, that's like life-changing money, especially being a college kid.
Yes.
Yeah. Right?
Oh, goodness.
or being a radio or what we do, or radio talent. That kid makes more than us.
Of course. Because he has a talent. Do you think we have a talent?
Yes, we do.
Do you think we have a talent?
Yes.
You have a talent.
Yes, that's why people listen to us, JJ. That's why that dude just called in and repeated everything I just said.
You go closer, got it. 505-246-06. And all right, let's step aside. Playing tournament. We know KT likes the Magic, but is there anyone else? Is it just the Warriors? Could someone get hot? Could someone come from the play-in and win a first-round series? Talk about that next here on The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Play-in tonight. Playoffs are here in the NBA. How about this for you? When it comes to the Phoenix Suns, they are the only team that's not in the postseason, so no playoffs, no play-in, and no lottery pick. So how are they getting better? And they just fired their coach. 3rd coach in the last 23 months.
I can't
and
believe
gone.
that happened. I can't.
What a mess.
I'm speechless. And what's nice, he had Mike Brown's back. You know what I mean? And then he went out blazing. They say, yeah. But yeah, what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah,
guaranteed money though.
Guaranteed money. Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker getting paid, but the Suns nowhere to be found. Some other notable things from this season.
That's terrible.
How about this? So LeBron James only averaged 24.4 points this year.
At the age of 41.
Yeah. So it's the
awesome.
first. Can you believe this, man? Wrap your mind around this. The first time in 20 years that LeBron did not average 25 points. That's crazy.
That's awesome. Hey, man, come on. These stats they come up with now, there's always something. Yeah. There's always a new one. Like, come on, 41 billionaire playing in the NBA next to his son. That's awesome.
Since his rookie season, that was the last time he was under 25 points per game. And by the way, he's got Luka Doncic by his side, the Lakers and T-Wolves, the 3-6 matchup in the Western Conference.
You got that other dude over there with the Lakers.
Anthony Edwards, Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves is balling, man. Hey, yeah, Austin might be, he up there. I mean, if Anthony Edwards gets another tech, man, I don't think those techs start over because he just got suspended.
Start over in the playoffs? I think they might.
I think they do.
Because he had the last one rescinded.
Yeah, they start over.
That's why he played the last game of the season.
I think they start over.
And that's how he won the 3-point title.
Talk about a hothead, man. Yeah. I don't understand it, but come on. If he keeps his composure and play the right way, which I think they could, Minnesota could upset them.
I don't know if that would be honest.
Wow. No.
Ant could go off, but it's like, all right, who's the number 2 now? Karl Anthony Towns is gone.
He's out?
He went to New York. He's with the Knicks.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
so it's like, all right, Rudy Gobert's not scoring.
No. You can't count on
Julius Randle?
No.
You're number 2?
That's why Zay was like,
I know.
I know you're Lakers. I said could. I didn't say realistic. To be honest, that Minnesota Lakers series, I could see it going 5 or 6 Lakers. Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, because Lakers are at home at first. So, yeah. they cannot. If the Lakers split those 2 home games, whoa, watch out. But just saying, yeah. But the Warriors, man, in Memphis, the Warriors got that.
Yeah, Memphis
Warriors got that.
Who knows what's going on? They fired their coach a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So there's 2 playoff teams. You got the Denver Nuggets, Memphis Grizzlies that fired their coaches before the season was over.
Yeah, you got guys over there throwing bombs now, not shooting bullets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I don't understand, man. You make all this 50, 60 million a year, and then you got Nike deals, and you just can't stop.
But if you're Houston, are you rooting for Memphis tonight?
Yeah. But it's not realistic.
No.
And then at the same time, I don't. It's going to be interesting if the Rockets can get past the Warriors. Yeah, obviously I'm picking the Warriors, but if the Rockets can get past the Warriors, it's going to be very interesting.
The one thing with the NBA, it's Kenny Thomas, Lobo legend, NBA veteran with us here on the Sports Animal. Like, there is a track record of, and I've been there, done that. You gotta take your lumps and you then move forward in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
So this is the first run with the Rockets. You know, we've seen OKC, they won a playoff series last year.
Yeah.
They come back with some additions. So this is the first time we're seeing this team where, you know, Thompson, Green, good young players.
Yeah.
Van Fleet, the veteran.
He's the key.
Sengun.
He's
good.
a beast.
Like, so they ran away with it. They were the second best team in the Western Conference, but no one is going to believe they can win a series against the Warriors.
No. I mean, you got to think about the Rockets last year. It was a letdown because they were right there as far as getting in, and they added a couple pieces with Van Vliet, and I think they added another dude to
They got
that.
like Dylan Brooks, there's some veteran players.
Yeah, another hothead.
Yeah.
He's unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a 7-game series. Can they beat the Warriors? No. But if they do, I'm going to Houston.
We'll see.
After
round 2.
Yeah, I think I gotta go to Houston. For
So the one thing, you know, we'll be able to dive into more of these on Friday when we know who won the 7 and 8 game. But I know the Magic. Magic are like these other young teams. They've done a good job. They've drafted all their pieces. Like Paulo Banchero is like that next tier. Like if he goes on a little bit of a run, he's going to be, for basketball fans, like a name brand. Like he's that level of player. Franz Wagner, Suggs, Anthony, like guys that they've drafted. But if they win, which they're 5.5-point favorites over the Hawks tonight in the play-in, I expect it's Boston in round 1.
Hey, that's a little different. That's a whole nother beast. That's a whole nother situation. Boston will beat either team in 4 or 5. Yeah. One of them might get lucky because Boston might take a day off. And nobody's perfect from the standpoint of everybody's going to make a shot on that Boston squad. But Boston obviously got too many weapons, and they've been there before. I got Orlando obviously beating the Hawks. Even though I'm not going to say I'm from, but I got some roots in Douglasville, Georgia. That's where I started. Where my parents conceived me. But New Mexico, this is home.
Yeah, you can have a different hometown, that's for sure.
This is home.
There's one thing with the Eastern Conference, I can't see anyone beating Cleveland or Boston. Like I just can't, because maybe Milwaukee, but Dame's not there, and Giannis can beat the Pacers because those games are going to be like 180 to 175.
Yeah,
but
you got Doc over there.
Like I look at the Knicks, like so. But in the West, I'm looking at I could see Oklahoma City, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Clippers as Western Conference Finals teams.
Yeah, without a doubt, and and the Knicks, man. They're pretty good squad, man. You got Brunson over there is playing like a beast. But Cleveland, I feel like Cleveland's a great team too. And it's gonna come like it's amazing how the regular season is the regular season and the playoffs. It's totally different. Guys are gonna show up and play a little bit harder than they did in the regular season.
And that's why I think we talk about experience so much, right?
Yeah.
There's a different level that it's a proven track record in the playoffs.
And it's being able to change gears. Changing gears with the way you play, you got to take it to the next level when the playoffs come. And then it's a whole different physical game when the playoffs come. And I know this game, I know it seems like to me I'm not playing in the NBA right now, but the game is a little soft right now, but it does go up to another level when the playoffs start.
I'll be ready for that in the postseason. We're stoked. It's here tonight. Playing tournament gets going. I have a lot more to break down on Friday. Other than trying to avoid the allergies, what do you got going on?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for asking, bro. I appreciate that. Cinco de Mayo, I'm having a tournament with the city of Rio Rancho for kids. And then Memorial Day weekend, I had my big tournament. Last year, we had about 250 teams with about 10 to 12 gyms around the whole city and Valencia County and all the way out there. This year, we're probably going to have about 300, so stay tuned for that. I have my golf tournament coming up September 6th, which I just finalized with Isleta. It will be at Isleta Casino this year. I'm looking at bringing in some celebrities. Obviously, I'm going to have some local celebrities. Michael Cooper's going to be there. Dwight Hicks for the 49ers. And then, like, Coop is looking at bringing some of the guys from the Lakers, and Dwight Hicks is looking at bringing some more 49ers. Some of my old Lobo teammates are going to be there. Royce Only has been there. David Gibson's been there. Clayton Shields is looking at coming. And then some local celebrity friends that I have are going to be there as well. And, yeah, that's going to September 6th, and it's with the Special Olympics, looking at partnering up with them. And then I partnered up with the Plaid Invitational. Last year, I partnered up with them. We give some great gifts. Last year, for first place, we gave away drivers.
There you go.
Brand new drivers and balls and big bags with speakers and different things in it. And we'll have some awards out there. Capital Ford, Santa Fe is a big sponsor of mine. There's going to be a couple cars out there, some hole-in-ones for some different products. And IBEW, the International Brother Electrical Workmen's Union, my boy Raymond, I'm partnering up with them to be a part of it as well. And one last thing, I got more, but this is coming up. July 14th through the 16th, looks like I'm having a basketball camp up in Santa Fe with Capital High School or Santa Fe High School. So stay tuned for these things that I'm talking about. You can follow me on my social media, Kenny Thomas NBA. And I'm always live streaming on Thursdays with the county, Bernalillo County, and the different vendors that they have, and looking at partnering up with them and more. I have a partnership with APD and some other folks too.
Busy man. Man of the people.
I'm blessed, man. It's a matter of giving back to the community and being able to support these government entities who, it doesn't matter who it is, just being able to impact these kids. And I have a name, and I'm just trying to help and support and be there for
Well, if you need some help with all those partners, you can throw some my way, and I'll be there, Kenny, for the day.
Yeah, maybe I can get you guys out there for my golf tournament. I think Kiki's gonna DJ that day, so maybe you guys could come out and hang out or whatnot.
No one wants to see us, but we can come help you out.
Yeah, and what's nice, last year I had a live DJ, so the music is going throughout the whole course. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Live golf going on.
Yeah.
KT.
That's good.
Oh, man. Well,
tell me,
man.
what's up?
Do you think Roy was going to bounce back?
Oh, my goodness. I was on the golf course Sunday, but him being up 2 strokes to Bryson, it was interesting because I thought it was going to be more them.
Yeah.
Rose, that was awesome, man. And then Rory, it's been a struggle with him down the stretch when it comes to putting to a certain extent, trying to close out, but he closed that one out again in great fashion. But you gotta give a lot of respect to the fact that Rory's daughter made that putt downhill, which was pretty cool with Shane Lowry and all them, and him and Rory being great friends. So yeah, golf is one of my things, man. I'm always watching it.
We'll get ready. Well, we'll get you ready for that golf tournament in September. We gotta go. We just blew up this clock. That's Kenny Thomas. He's back Friday. It's the opening drive here on The Sports.
Appreciate you guys.
95.9.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Watch some basketball all night. I'll enjoy it. But I really think that it's not the only team's the Warriors, right?
Yeah.
Because if they're the 7th seed going against the young Houston Rockets, it's advantage Golden State.
I really like Steph, man, but as a Lakers fan, let's get those Warriors out of there. Yeah. Let's get those Warriors out of there. We need them out of contention, but also the Warriors can knock off the Rockets. So I'm really split here, but I think Steph's going to lock in here tonight. I think he's been on a tear. The Warriors have been a very, very good team. Not going to let that loss to the Clippers, sway.
I think that's more Clippers than Warriors.
Yeah,
credit to how good the Clippers have been the last couple.
Like 70 points between Harden and Kawhi. More than that. It was 39 and 37. 39 and 37 points between those two guys. Now, the thing is with them, they can't do that every night at this point in their career. Now, I don't want to doubt it. There's no back-to-backs in the playoffs. I know Kawhi loves that, but
that's the one thing. Like, all right, can Kawhi make it? Can he be that guy every single night?
You know what sucks is I think physically it's always been a yes. I think as soon as he doesn't feel 100, he's like, nope, I'm sitting out. Like, I'm not taking any chances. I'm out.
I can see, well, especially how it ended in San Antonio, and he just got that vibe. And yeah, he won a championship with the Toronto Raptors, but then battling to get back since then. And again, there's like national narratives. There's things like Clippers. No one wants to believe in the Clippers. They've been the hottest team in the NBA. Now, they're not the best team, but they've been the hottest team. And going into the postseason with that kind of momentum against a Nuggets team that just fired their coach, that was trying to find a spark late in the season. Got Jamal Murray back on the court. That's the key for the Nuggets. They're going to be competitive. What are you getting out of Jamal Murray? Nikola Jokic, night in and night out, is going to put up ridiculous numbers. The dude averaged a triple-double. You just can't give him the MVP because his team didn't win enough games. Like, that's going to be the narrative for Jokic.
Yeah, I agree. I think the thing about Jokic is, is he one of those guys where you see him one out? Like, is he stuck in one of those situations where he's the team's hit their peak and they need to think about a rebuild?
There's an element to that because when Jamal Murray played, they won the NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. The other postseasons he hasn't been available, they've been knocked out early. And so that's also kind of the knock on Joker.
Yeah. And no discredit to Jamal Murray, but, I mean, you can get better players than him. And that shows that Jokic doesn't need a top 5 guard to go pull this off. I think if you just get him some decent pieces, I think he can manage to at least get you back to the Western Conference Finals. Now, Murray was scoring 50 in some playoffs.
Yeah, Murray had some bonkers.
Yeah, he was insane.
But that was kind of like their, Porter Jr. really was solid. Like they have pieces when they won the finals.
Yeah, it was a good team.
It was, Aaron Gordon, great in his role.
Mm-hmm.
They had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 3-and-D. They had Bruce Brown, who's their sixth man off the bench, veteran player. Like they had the pieces. But now, Jamal Murray's been hurt. They've tried to go younger at times. Hasn't quite worked. But still, they're the fourth seed in the Western Conference with Nikola Jokic. And that's why I still put them on the list. I don't like what's gone on late in the season for the Nuggets. When you fire a coach and you have your vice chairman, Josh Kroenke, saying he's been sitting on that all season long, just when he wants to fire Michael Malone. But you still got that dude, Jokic. Jamal Murray has played 30-plus minutes the last couple games that he's been back. Murray is the question mark, just like Kawhi Leonard. Like, how long can they do it?
Yeah.
Because that changes the series for both teams.
Yeah, and if you look at the last two seasons when the Nuggets did make the playoff runs, I mean, again, I don't say this because I'm a Lakers fan, but Jamal Murray pretty much, he is the reason why they kept beating the Lakers. And that's also, we got Terry on the line, our best friend, Terry.
Terry, what's up, man?
Good morning, JJ. Good morning, Isaiah. Sorry, going down the avenue of more of the NIL and transfer portal. I'm in favor of the kids. I don't remember a lot of people, complaining when Deion ran off a bunch of kids. Nobody worried about them. Having had a son who wasn't top level but was D1, I'm like, they all thought they'd have a scholarship, and it was fine for him to tell them bye-bye. So I think some of the other players have a right to say, hey, step up. It's the same thing with the guys that when we were left and we ran off them on basketball. The gentleman who called yesterday who was in love with Stoney Case, maybe he want to call back and just say, yeah, I wanted the Lobos to finish last. I didn't want Mashburn or House or Junior Joseph to come here, because that's kind of what he was saying. He said he just wanted people to stay local, or whoever you first signed with, stay with them. And I'm like, that ain't happening anymore from that. So, from that level, if guys can get the money. Now, the one I kind of think a lot of them are is the kid who agreed to stay, at Baylor for $1 million, and then all of a sudden he's $3 million at BYU. I think once you agree to something, it's one thing to go look elsewhere, but sometimes you wish they'd be a man of their word, but that's too bad. I think Tennessee should have known better of that guy's judgment, their quarterback, because they overplayed all during the year of him on that last play of one of their games. Clock had run out, and he's running around, clock runs out, and then he runs out of bounds. And they're like, what the heck are you doing? You just, from that standpoint of putting it up and thinking $2.4 million is not enough. Well, I'm glad Tennessee stood up to him. So I'm glad guys get money, but, once you've agreed to something, I hope they live up and stick to it. And from that standpoint going on. So, we'll just see as it plugs along. But I do feel for the lower level kids, and I still feel for freshmen, because it is harder for freshmen in basketball because so many coaches are just looking for transfers instead of bringing in a freshman, because maybe they think they're only going to stay 1 year and leave them. But, it is a different world from that standpoint. But you guys have a great day. Always appreciate your time. Enjoy the show. So be safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
I think the reality is, whether it's a freshman or you're bringing in a junior, it's all 1 year mindsets right now for everyone. It's just wrapping your mind around it. But the Lobos got 2 more on their roster. Eric Olin continues to recruit, getting an idea of what it costs at that level. And this is the way the game is played, and this is the way you have to discuss and break it down. Right now, it is the opening drive here on the Sports Animal.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard. serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Yesterday, you saw the commitments of Kevin Patton Jr., a 6'8" forward, and his brother Kalai Patton, a 6'4" guard. Kevin played at USC last year, as did his brother, but brother, Eli, the 6'4" guard, was a walk-on freshman, did not play. Kevin played in 27 games, about 8 minutes per game, just 3 points, 1.2 boards. But you go back to his freshman season at San Diego, and that's where Kevin really showed his potential. Just under 10 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1.3 blocks, all freshman West Coast Conference selection at San Diego. So you got a brother, pair of brothers coming in. That's to the freshman recruit, Jake Hall, Chris Howell, the transfer 6'6" wing defender coming over with Olin from UC San Diego. Tonio Chol, the outstanding 6'9" JUCO forward. Milos Vincentich, 6'7" transfer, shot 40% at D2, took a redshirt last year after a foot injury at UCSD. So the pieces to the puzzle are starting to be put in place for Lobo basketball. We got the play-in tonight. Steph and the Warriors against Memphis and Ja Morant. That's a fascinating storyline. The talent's there for Memphis, but is the
not enough?
Well, is there an adult in the room?
Talent, exactly. Talent and star power, two big different things. Yes. Everyone in the NBA is talented. They do have star power, but they don't have enough star power. Honestly, right now, I mean, Luka and LeBron, I believe it's common sense they're above Ant Edwards. But like on any given night right now, Austin Reeves might go out there and put out a better stat line than Anthony Edwards. In a random game, it could happen. You know,
I think Ant. This is one of those series you see like, all right, Anthony Edwards is that dude, but there's not number 2.
Yeah, and people are underestimating J.J. Redick's defense, especially like you saw what he did when they played the Nuggets, and he's like, okay, key on Jokic. When they played the Mavericks a couple of days ago, and it was like, all right, key on AD. They go out there and key on Anthony Edwards, I would not be surprised if he struggles. Just because they are a bunch of guys who are all scrappy. There's no big lockdown, but they're all scrappy. They get in the way. They switch really well. They play the passing lanes well. I think it'll be a frustrating series for Anthony Edwards. But he'll still have a couple of good games. But I expect him to have a lot of turnovers as well.
I can see that happening. They're just not. Where's the relief valve this year?
Exactly.
Like Julius Randle can have his moments, but Julius Randle versus Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves, I think that's too much for Minnesota to overcome. But we'll be able to break it down. Still plenty to talk about ahead of the postseason with the play-in tournament tonight. So you get the 7-8 matchups in the East and West. Starts in the East, Magic and Hawks. Magic 5.5-point favorites. Warriors 7.5-point favorites over the Grizzlies. Which loser will still have an opportunity. They'll play the 9-10 game, which is tomorrow in both conferences. Big thank you to Kenny Thomas. Joins us Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. right here on The Sports Animal. There you have Colin Cowherd coming up next. Jim Rome follows that. 2 men on will take you up into Isotopes Baseball as they open up a 6-game homestand tonight out there at the Labs. They appreciate you, man.
Of course.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
More hoop, more football. The draft is coming, and we will be your local source right here on The Sports Animal. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us, Adrian. Appreciate you. Meta World Peace and Love. We'll chat tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit International Protective Service